Okay, Alea. This is part 2. Stop letting Satan behind the steering wheel of your vehicle in your life. Alea. All he is going to do is just drive you right off of a cliff. So this is part 2. Alea. That's what I thought of it. Alea, my goodness. Jesus. Alea. Just understand, Alea, Satan wants to direct you, Alea, and set you up for failure. Alea, he wants to control your emotions, that way you won't help people. Alea, he wants to crash you in life. He wants you to be stingy. Alea, he don't want you to have compassion on nobody. Alea, he wants you to call evil good, Alea, and good evil. See, Alea, he wants you to have it backwards. Alea, so, Alea, let's go ahead and start working out, Alea. Alea, why? Because that makes the devil mad too, Alea. When you eat healthy, Alea, when you work out, Alea, that makes hell mad. Especially when you do it according to the Bible. Alea, see? Alea. Alea. Oh, that makes Alea, Satan very angry. Alea. Now we're going to start, Alea, at the bottom of the list. Alea, and work our way up. Alea. Alea. And also, too, Alea, being that I'm working out, Alea, 2 days straight, Alea, and then, Alea, taking off a day, Alea. After you come off your off day, Alea, Alea, you're going to be kind of sore sometimes, Alea. So, Alea, you don't have to do the half of the list, Alea. You can do that, Alea, the next day, Alea, right before you get a day off. Alea. Alea. What I'm trying to tell you, Alea. So, Alea, we have a list. Alea, we have a list of, I believe it's 22 exercises. Alea, 22 exercises. Alea. Now, Alea. See, you don't have to do, Alea, 11 exercises. Alea. Just do, Alea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. See, I'm just going to do 6 exercises. Alea, and 2 of those are sit-ups. Alea. And then you come back, Alea, on the day before you take an off day, Alea, and you work out really hard, Alea. That way, Alea, your body has more time to heal. See, Alea. And also, too, I got it designed, Alea, where, Alea, I'm working out, Alea, on my upper body and my lower body. See, Alea. But in this case, Alea, I'm starting at the bottom of the list, Alea. So, I'm mainly focusing on my bottom part of my body, on the bottom part of my body. See, Alea. You can see, I'm only going to do, Alea, very few exercises on my top part of my body, Alea. So, Alea, I'm not going to work out my top part of my body, Alea, as hard as I'm going to work out my bottom part. In other words, Alea, very simple, Alea. So, my muscles have a little bit more time to heal. Alea. So, Alea. See, because, Alea, I'm going to do, Alea, the only thing I'm going to really do on my upper part of my body is the incline press. See, Alea. Alea. See. Alea, and I'm going to do, my setups, my sprinter setups, Alea, calf raises, leg curls, and squats, Alea. See, I got 3 exercises, Alea, to do on my bottom part of my body, and just one on my upper part of my body. See? How that. So, how that's going to give my body more time to rest. How that. All that. So, that's also something you got to take into consideration. How that with my program done. All that. And also, too, I'm switching it up. How that. So, I'm stunning my muscles. How that. All that. How that. How am I doing that? How that. I'm starting. How that. Switching it up. Starting at the bottom of the list sometimes. And then at the top of the list sometimes. So I'm never doing just the same old thing every day. It's always different. And also too, you got to also take into consideration I work out a little bit extra harder. Why? Because I work in a very intensive job. Doing driveways and lifting appliances and stuff like that. So I use my body on a daily basis. My goodness. So, everything I gain, I'm not going to lose it. See, But you got to understand, if you don't eat right, doing this kind of program, you're more prone, to tearing your muscles, because while you're working out, more, So that's how come some of them bodybuilders, that go into the gym 7 or 8 hours a day, you hear about them having lots of injuries. Why? Because they're not eating according to the Bible, therefore the body's not healing right, because it's too busy fighting off bacteria. That's how come a lot of them take steroids and things. But there's nothing wrong with, Purine, vitamins, what you need to stay away from is the soy. Why? Because it's the #1 GMO product there is. My goodness, nothing wrong with caffeine pills. Let's not go overboard. Some of them things are okay. But you'll find out a lot of that stuff is in just normal foods. So, like me, when I went shopping, I bought turkey bacon. And I did read the package. And I did make sure there was no pork in there. Peanut butter. Is a good source of protein. And if you're trying to pack on muscle mass, you need to eat your starches and your grains. Baked potatoes, oatmeal. You need to make sure you're doing a good diet. Because if you're not, everything that you do in life is going to count for nothing. Just like I showed you that picture of my aunt that went and had her stomach tied. See, you can't think that you can eat whatever you want to, and still drop weight because you think you're going to be full. If you put just a little bit of bacteria in your body, what's going to happen? You're going to stun your immune system, and your metabolism, and you're not going to burn fat. And then people have never lost weight. Not long ago, she was talking to my sister, trying to tell my sister how to lose weight. None of them has ever lost weight. None of them has. My goodness. Now my uncle did. That owns a surplus store. But he did it because he, started halfway eating right. My goodness. And he, was doing protein drinks, and getting them working out. But, I don't know how his health is now, but it can't be too good. Why? Because, his stomach's tied. It's really not so much how much you eat, it's what you eat. So you need to be careful. You just need to be careful. The things that you do in life. Oh, you need to be careful. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So let's live for the Lord. Hallelujah. It's very simple. We need to live for God. Hallelujah. Because when you live for God, good things happen. Hallelujah. All good things. Hallelujah. My goodness. So, hallelujah. Let's, hallelujah, hallelujah, straighten up and let's, hallelujah, not let Satan control our emotions no more. And let's learn how to conduct ourselves on God's earth. Hallelujah. So let's turn to our passage of scripture, hallelujah, that we're going to read today. Hallelujah, our verses. Hallelujah. And I want to, hallelujah, start, hallelujah, hallelujah, in, my goodness, hallelujah, 1 Peter, hallelujah, 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 chapter 3, hallelujah, starting at verse 8, hallelujah. And let's see what God says, hallelujah, how to conduct ourselves on his earth, hallelujah. Oh my goodness. It says, finally, be ye all of one mind, hallelujah, having compassion one of another, loving as brethren, being pitiful and courteous. Hallelujah. Now, hallelujah. You know, you're supposed to help people, hallelujah. You know, like I was telling you, hallelujah, I had compassion, hallelujah, on my bully, hallelujah, when I called him and gave him that job check. See, hallelujah. Why? Because he was down low on money, hallelujah. See, hallelujah. So I did what I needed to do, even though, hallelujah, here lately, hallelujah, they have not returned the favor. It helped me, hallelujah. But let me tell you something. See, if you obey God's word, hallelujah, and have compassion on people, God will repay. See, hallelujah. See, because see that job, hallelujah, that the Lord led me to, hallelujah, hallelujah, you know, hallelujah, that was one of his old jobs, hallelujah. So, hallelujah, he didn't have to give it to me, God did. Hallelujah. Very simple. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now, hallelujah. Oh, you need to straighten up. Hallelujah. So have compassion on people. Hallelujah. You know, if someone calls you and they're in need, hallelujah, hallelujah, of water, hallelujah, maybe groceries, hallelujah, maybe they're, you know, fixing to get evicted out of their house, hallelujah, you don't turn them down. Hallelujah. See, that's a sin in the Bible. See, hallelujah, it says have compassion on people. Hallelujah. Loving people. See, hallelujah. It's very simple. Hallelujah. You know. Hallelujah. What goes around comes around. Hallelujah. I remember when I was going through that stuff. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Everybody that would not help me. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And encouraged. Hallelujah. My hallelujah ex-wife to run off on me. Hallelujah. Put me away in adultery. Hallelujah. For hallelujah. The other guy she ran off with at work. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. See, Lord said everything that happened to me would come back on them 10 times their amounts. Hallelujah. And let me tell you something. Wait, they gave me a lot of problems. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Because see, she walked out on me right before the rent was due. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I had a $10 bill in my pocket. Hallelujah. I had no money. And at the time, my dump truck, hallelujah, was not tagged and inspected. Hallelujah. Was not road ready. Hallelujah. 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 I had just got delivered from smoking. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, hallelujah. And she showed up, hallelujah, on her mom's wedding day when she was marrying a liberal, hallelujah, Catholic man, hallelujah, hallelujah, that, hallelujah, you know, was living completely ungodly, hallelujah, and Satan was using their emotions, hallelujah. So she showed up in my house with, hallelujah, 3 people, hallelujah. Think about it, hallelujah. And I had just me and my daughter there, hallelujah, and what had happened was, hallelujah, hallelujah, the Lord spoke to me, Hallelujah. Oh, about 45 minutes right before they showed up, hallelujah. He said, Mark, you need to get up. And hallelujah. She's leaving you. Hallelujah. She's putting you away. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Has come to my attention. Hallelujah. So get up. Hallelujah. And get prepared. Hallelujah. And he told me to move some things around. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And, move some things to the back of the field. Hallelujah. Because see, we had 30 acres. Hallelujah. So I moved some things to the back of the crop. In other words, hallelujah is what I'm trying to say. Hallelujah. So when all three of them people showed up at my house to gang on me, hallelujah, that, hallelujah, her new stepdaddy, hallelujah, her sister and her showed up, hallelujah. I had 3 against 1. Hallelujah. Because you really can't count a, 11-year-old. Hallelujah. 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 So the Lord just led me right outside. Hallelujah. And he said, hallelujah, stay out here. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Anyway. Hallelujah. Then he led me, hallelujah, help me get my hands on the money. See, hallelujah. That way she couldn't leave me right before, broke, bust, and disgusted right before the ring was through. Hallelujah. See. Hallelujah. Because all 3 of them was inside. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I had the opportunity to get my hand on the debit card. Hallelujah. Anyway. Hallelujah. My goodness. The trophies that I had. Hallelujah. My goodness. Lord help us. Anyway. See, the Lord helped me. Hallelujah. So, hallelujah. My goodness. Anyway, hallelujah. So, hallelujah. Come to find out, hallelujah, after, taking a few things to the pawn shop, hallelujah, and withdrawing, hallelujah, some money out of the bank account, hallelujah, on about $800, hallelujah. Hallelujah. But the next morning, hallelujah, I was fat catting, hallelujah. Hallelujah. I had over $3,000 in my pocket, hallelujah, after I made a trip to the pawn shop. Hallelujah. And that paid, hallelujah, for my truck, hallelujah, to get re-inspected and registered. That way I could go to work. Hallelujah. And then I even had to go live, hallelujah, with, hallelujah, a, hallelujah, relative, hallelujah, hallelujah. And it was not on my family side, hallelujah, it was on my daughter's, hallelujah, mom's side, hallelujah. So anyway, hallelujah. I had to go live with my ex-mother-in-law, hallelujah. And believe me, boy, hallelujah, them ungodly family members of mine, hallelujah, instead of helping me, having compassion on me, hallelujah, they was, hallelujah, teaming up, hallelujah, with my ex-wife, hallelujah, or my wife at the time. It was going to be soon to be my ex-wife, hallelujah, hallelujah, posting things on Facebook, hallelujah, telling me that, hallelujah, it's wrong, hallelujah, that, hallelujah, hallelujah, take things to the pawn shop, it's wrong, hallelujah, to take money out of your account, hallelujah. Let me tell you something, when you're married, hallelujah, your property is yours, hallelujah. It's not just one person, hallelujah. Anyway, hallelujah. Instead of helping me, hallelujah, and telling her, and reproving her and telling her, no, it's wrong to commit adultery. It's wrong for you to walk out on Mark. It's wrong. Why don't you live for the Lord? Why are you up there talking to a lesbian? Why are you up there doing them things? Why don't you go get into church? Why don't you obey your dreams and visions? See? But instead of them helping me, instead of them having compassion on me, see, they let Satan control their emotions. Hallelujah, and attack me. See? Hallelujah. See? That's what they did. Hallelujah. Because see, hallelujah, they didn't read the Bible. Hallelujah. They didn't do what they needed to do. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. They called evil good and good evil. See? Hallelujah. That's what they did. Hallelujah. So they have it backwards. Hallelujah. And the whole time I'm having dreams and visions. Hallelujah. Posting things on Facebook. Hallelujah. About supernatural things. Hallelujah. Talking about how God delivered me from smoking. Hallelujah. And see, them are just attacks of the devil. Hallelujah. But, hallelujah. Hallelujah. They didn't stand up for good things. Hallelujah. They took up for bad things. See, hallelujah. 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 And hallelujah. You go read Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. It says, marriage is honorable. Marriage is honorable in all. See. My goodness. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. See, they didn't call sin, hallelujah, by the Bible. They called sin by what they seen. Hallelujah. They was just ganging up on me. Hallelujah. See, marriage is honorable in all. Hallelujah. And the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. See, hallelujah. See, God helped me. See, why? Because I acknowledge Him in all my ways, and He directed my path. See, hallelujah. So that $10, hallelujah, that I had in my pocket, hallelujah, hallelujah, turned into over $3,000. Hallelujah. Within just, days. Hallelujah. My goodness. Hallelujah. So, hallelujah, even right in the middle of my situation that I was facing, instead of my ungodly family helping me, hallelujah, they took up, hallelujah, for her, hallelujah, and they didn't call sin, hallelujah, the way they should, hallelujah. They called it, hallelujah, according to their own, hallelujah, minds, hallelujah. They did not match it with the Word of God, hallelujah, hallelujah, because that girl that walked out on me, hallelujah, she would be turned into a lesbian at work, hallelujah, hallelujah. She was, hallelujah, messing around with another guy, hallelujah, hallelujah. She would not get rid of her ungodly material. Hallelujah. So instead of my family having compassion on me, hallelujah, and loving me as brother, hallelujah, they trashed me. Hallelujah. And I even had, hallelujah, my uncle, hallelujah, and his son, hallelujah, came by, hallelujah, the house and tried to jump me. Hallelujah. But I already had a dream about it, hallelujah, beforehand. Hallelujah. The Lord told me, hallelujah, to get out there and dance, start talking in tongues. Hallelujah. And I did. Hallelujah. But guess what? Hallelujah. They laughed at me, but they didn't jump me. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My goodness. See. Hallelujah. If you just obey your dreams, hallelujah, and listen to the Lord, hallelujah, He'll help you. Hallelujah. But even though, hallelujah, they trashed me, hallelujah, I still had compassion on them. Even though they would not help me, hallelujah, with water, hallelujah, I still called, hallelujah, them not long ago and told them where a drag box was. Hallelujah. See. Hallelujah. So I don't care what they do. Hallelujah. I'm going to obey the Bible. Hallelujah. Why? Because then God takes care of my adversaries. Hallelujah. See, they become the evildoers in the Bible, like Psalm chapter 37 says. Hallelujah. And what happens to them? Hallelujah. God cuts them down. Hallelujah. He begins to make their water get turned off. He begins to strike them with hernia. Hallelujah. See, He begins, hallelujah, to subdue them. Hallelujah. And then when they're trashing, hallelujah, and won't help you, hallelujah, won't help you and let you wash clothes in their house, hallelujah, the Lord begins to take their washers and dryers away. See, hallelujah, the Lord begins, hallelujah, to make them to the point where they're about to get addicted, hallelujah. See, now my sister, she lives right down the road, hallelujah. And during this time, hallelujah, when I was trying to, regain things in my life, hallelujah, money kind of, hallelujah, got tight, hallelujah, and, hallelujah. So, hallelujah, my water got disconnected. Hallelujah. But instead of my family helping me, hallelujah, they're too busy trashing me, hallelujah. And lo and behold, hallelujah, my sister, hallelujah, rents a house, hallelujah, not more than a mile from my house, hallelujah. The Lord taught me, He said, start going down there, hallelujah, and, use her water, hallelujah, until you get yours turned back on. But instead of, hallelujah, having compassion on me, she trashed me, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Call me demon possessed, all kinds of stuff. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And was taken up, hallelujah, for my ex-wife. Oh, hallelujah. My goodness. See, the devil runs in groups. Hallelujah. 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 See, he thinks there's strength in numbers. Hallelujah. Let me tell you something. One man with God, hallelujah, the majority anything. Hallelujah. See, God began to give me hallelujah, natural things begin to happen to me. Hallelujah, and I begin to get classified information about them. Hallelujah. So the Lord began to tell me their future. Hallelujah. He began to educate me. Hallelujah, and I began to know things about them. Hallelujah. Like when they were posting that stuff on Facebook about me. Hallelujah. And talking trash about me. Hallelujah. The Lord gave me a word of knowledge about that aunt. Hallelujah. He said, hallelujah, she wants to trash you and stuff. Tell her, hallelujah, remember the things that she did on her mama's couch as she was growing up. Hallelujah. The ungodly things. Hallelujah. So, hallelujah. The Lord will help you. Hallelujah. But your job is to have compassion. Hallelujah. I don't care if they trash you. Hallelujah. Your job is to help them. Plain and simple. Hallelujah. Because even, hallelujah, as she was fighting with me over water, hallelujah, and one time she even took my clothes out of the washer, hallelujah, and threw them out. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. See, the devil was beginning to work through her. Hallelujah. But even though, hallelujah, she did that to me, hallelujah, when she needed a tire, hallelujah, I went and bought her a tire. Hallelujah. See, the Lord began to exalt me. Hallelujah. See. Hallelujah. When she got low on money, couldn't buy school clothes, hallelujah, I let her sons work for me, hallelujah. And hallelujah, I began to, hallelujah, give them enough money to help buy them some school clothes, get them started. Hallelujah. See, I had compassion on them. Hallelujah. Why? Because I'm not a hypocrite. I'm going to live by it. Hallelujah. Even though they trashed me, hallelujah, I'm still going to help them. Hallelujah. See. Hallelujah. As God allows me to. Hallelujah. See. And I know that He's going to take care of it. Hallelujah. And He's going to deal with them. Hallelujah. For their evil ways and the things that they did to me. Hallelujah. Because He done told me He would. See. He said, everything they did to me, hallelujah, 10 times the amount would come back on them. Hallelujah. So every time my ex was posting pictures of her and her new boyfriend on the internet, hallelujah, it's going to happen to them. Hallelujah. It's already happening to my sister. See. Hallelujah. As soon as her old man got out of jail, hallelujah, guess what? He met a girl, hallelujah, and she's not a bad looking girl. Hallelujah. And now now they're posting pictures on the internet. Hallelujah. See, what goes around comes around. Hallelujah. Very simple. Hallelujah. You know. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. The Lord began to give me words of wisdom about that hole in the wall. Hallelujah. That they're going to. Hallelujah. All kinds of stuff. Hallelujah. Begin to tell me, hallelujah, secret information about them. Hallelujah. See, now I get to stand up here, hallelujah, and wave my spear like King David did. Hallelujah. So I know all kinds of supernatural things about them. And hallelujah, classified information. Hallelujah. I know their future. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, hallelujah. Why? Because, see, I'm led by the Spirit. Hallelujah. While they're led by the devil. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My goodness. So they just need to straighten up. Hallelujah. Because let me tell you something. Oh, they're in big trouble. Hallelujah. Now let's do a set real fast. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, you know, you got to be courteous. Hallelujah. You can't, hallelujah, let the devil control you like he controls them. Hallelujah. You be pitiful and have some pity on them people. Hallelujah. You love them. Hallelujah. Oh, man. It's your job to do, see? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My goodness. Hallelujah. 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 See? Why they entertained, hallelujah, and laughed at me, hallelujah, over divorce, hallelujah, God's going to bring divorce to their house. Hallelujah. See, 10 times the amount. Hallelujah. 10 times the amount. Hallelujah. It's going to happen to them. Hallelujah. It's very simple. Don't mess with child of God. Hallelujah. My goodness. Hallelujah. Anyway. Hallelujah. Lord loves you. He wants to help you. Hallelujah. But you're going to have to live for Him. Hallelujah. And even if you don't want to, hallelujah, you're going to have pity on your bully. Hallelujah. You know, just look at this way. Hallelujah. Their elevator don't go to the top. Hallelujah. It's getting jammed on ungodly things. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's very simple. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's getting jammed on pepperoni pizza. Hallelujah. My goodness. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My goodness. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop right there. I'll let y'all see me in the next part. Oh, man.